Snap on, yeah, this shit fitted. Lessons taught was all caps, so I didn't listen. I need my stick so I can live, I ain't trying to fit in.
YouTube, it's your boy TyThaPlug tuning in from the 30-way page, and today we are going to be discussing mixing rap vocals. So I know everybody's at home right now enjoying their time due to this corona situation. It may not be the best time right now, but it's definitely not the worst time to be creative. And this is particularly why I wanted to bring out this tutorial, man, because I know a lot of people right now are just locking in and getting stuff done. And, you know, what's not better than making music? So we're going to get into this for the sake of the length of the video. I am going to be very brief for everything. I do briefly want to go through the routing. Very, very simple. I'm just going to show you how I have it set up. My record track, I always record dry to make sure that I keep the integrity of the actual recording 100%. So I always record dry to make sure that there is no mess ups at all. None at all whatsoever. Because if you do mess up on the recording, sometimes a great mix can change the record, but majority of the time messing up the recording means that the mixing engineer has to do tons of work. So keep that in mind. Very, very simple routing. I have a few lead tracks and background vocals. Very self-explanatory. The lead tracks are going to the lead bus and the background vocals are going to the background bus. I do not have any background vocals this session, so I won't really be going over that bus, particularly just the lead bus. So I'm going to let you guys hear an example. Like I said, very minimum. I recorded it with a Rode Nt1 and an Apollo Twin Solo, all within a room in a house in an apartment. So shows you that you don't really need the best, but it is good to invest in yourself, which is why I will put the links of the items down in the description. So I'm going to let you guys hear the example.
Yeah. Where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you letting glocks pop on the corner with them old hands slinging crack rock toothpaste.
So very minimum, as you see. I'm just going to jump right into the plugins. Because after all, that is what everybody is here for. So first, the RDSer. Very, very simple. Where's the good? Very, very simple. Scoop all the way down to 2000 hertz. And from those 2000 hertz, I literally dipped all the way down with 40 dB. Now that may sound like a lot, but keep in mind that this actual plugin isn't going to attenuate all the way down to 40 dB. So essentially it's just going to attenuate the peaks within that 40 dB. So I'll let you hear that.
Yeah. Where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you letting glocks pop on the corner with them old hands slinging.
So very minimum. I always like my vocals to be kind of neutral before they go into any processing. It just makes it a little bit better to work with and easier also. The next plugin is the Fairchild 670 Legacy. It is a UAD plugin. So if you do have an Apollo, this plugin comes free. Now with the Legacy plugins, that means that it doesn't contain any of the original transistors or tubes. So you'll just have the functionality, not the sound characteristic. This particular plugin, slight compression, kind of in between 3 dB but 2 dB of reduction. Not much, but it gives you a little bit of something. I'll let you see that.
Yeah. Where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you letting glocks pop.
Yeah, very minimum. The next plugin would be the RVox. Favorite for a lot of people. I really love the gate on this plugin. I try not to do too much compression, only because that you don't have control over the attack and release time, which is kind of, contradicting, but still a great tool to use. For this particular one, I only had 24.6 dB of gate, so I'll just let you hear that. And then I did compress a little, but not much is really going on. And then I did reduce the actual output gain to 1.5 dB. So I'll let you hear what that sounds like.
Yeah. Where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you letting glocks pop on the corner.
Once again, very, very small difference. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, just as is. Alright, the next plugin will be my Pro Q2. Probably one of my favorite plugins, only because of the versatility of this EQ. the versatility and the sleekness of the bands just makes it real easy to get in there and do lots of reductive EQing. For this particular track, well, really any track I do, I always use reductive EQing, one of the best tools you can use. There's tons of tricks that you can, go about with sweeping the EQ and doing reductive EQ or boosting frequencies. But like I said, for the sake of the length of this video, I won't be diving into that this video. So I'll just go over the little cuts that I made. Rolled off at 77 hertz, just to get all of that unnecessary bottom end off. Dipped down at 188 hertz with a Q of 1.6, and that's just to get rid of all of that boominess, all of the boominess you're getting out of that low end. But at the same time, which is why I didn't really cut it off with the cut. You still kind of need a lot of that low end information. It's still very valuable information, so I try not to get rid of it in totality. The second cut at 321 hertz, only 4 dB, not much. The same on the next band, only 5 dB at 410, and then again at 597 hertz. And all of these little cuts are just little annoying frequencies that just I couldn't stand, so I had to tame. Like I said, everybody's ear is going to be different, so of course your EQ is not going to look like everybody's EQ, because once again, everybody's ears are different, and there is no right or wrong technically when it comes to mixing. But there are fundamentals that you need to know when it comes to mixing. And EQing and reductive EQing, that's one of the most important steps of processing. So like I said, very minimum, nothing too crazy. Definitely could have went insane on the EQ, but didn't do it that stage. Next plugin, the CLA2A. Very simple, one of the most beloved plugins in the Waves bundle. Another stage of compression, not much. I'll let you hear what that sounds like.
Yeah, where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you letting glops pop.
Yeah, so very simple, just to tame the vocal a little. The next is the Apex Vintage Exciter. Not gonna spend too much time on that. Just a tastemaker plugin, really just to make your mix stand out.
Yeah, where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you letting glops.
Very minimum. Couldn't even hear the difference. The next is another de-esser. My second de-esser, I usually like to cut around 7 hertz and up. Particularly there, because that's where most of your bright and high end information is gonna be. So I don't take it away all the way. I just attenuate it a little bit. I do keep the threshold at negative 45 dB, and that's just to give me a little bit headroom. So when it does attenuate, it's not attenuating too much, but it's attenuating the just right amount. So I'll let you hear that.
Yeah, where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen.
Very minimum again. So the next one is the L1 limiter. I tried something different on this mix. I don't usually use the L1. Usually I would probably go with a C4 or a C6. But a friend actually gave me this tip, and I tried it out, and I actually liked how it sounded. So pretty much all I did with this was tweak the ceiling and the threshold, and essentially it tamed the vocal, essentially how a multi-band compressor would. So I'll let you hear what that sounds like.
Yeah, where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you letting glops pop on the corner with them old hands.
Just tons of headroom now. And as you can see on the right, it wasn't even that much of attenuation. Probably like half of this meter. So it was like 3 dBs, if that. It's reading 3 -5. So yeah, around that area. So we're gonna move on to the all Vox bus. So with my all Vox bus, this essentially would be almost like a summon mixer for me. I run generally everything from vocals to stems all through the all Vox. Right now, because of the particular track, it is an all Vox bus because I have no stems. So I'm literally just running vocals through here. In this particular part of processing, it would be running the background vocals, the lead, dubs, and everything, just so I can all compress it at the start of this stage, like how I'm doing with this one, with the G bus compressor. And essentially, it just brings it all together before we go to the last stage of processing, which is the master fader. So very simple SSL G bus. On this one, I did side chain filter just to make sure that the compressor isn't fighting with a lot of the low end information that isn't really necessary to the mix. I did go with a 4 ratio. The attack is pretty fast, and I went with an auto release just to make sure that I'm working within the terms. I'll let you hear what that sounds like now.
Yeah, where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you letting glocks pop on the corner with them old hands slinging.
Very minimum, just to tighten it up a little bit. Nothing much. Another de-esser, nothing crazy, just to make sure it's taming all of the frequencies that we don't want that's coming out of the G compressor.
Yeah, where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you...
Yeah, barely even touching any frequencies, just attenuates the top end. The crammer, very simple, nothing too crazy, just brings up the vocals a little bit more.
Yeah, where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you...
Very, very simple. Then the oxide tape, one of my favorites. Essentially, it's just a tape emulation. You have so much versatility within the tape. You can switch between the IPS, and that's just the general speed in which the tape wheels are moving. Generally for rap, I would go with a 15, and it just makes it move a lot bit faster, so you're not getting a lot of that slow and flutter from the actual tape machine. Then the EQs are really interesting on here. My kind of perception of the EQs, the CCIR is more of a bright and tight EQ. The NAB is more so of a warm, low end, warm kind of smooth, kind of low end, kind of don't kind of know even how to explain it, but kind of like a smooth silkiness. And then that's pretty much it. I'll let you hear the end result. Of course, I do have effects on here, but it's all tastemaker effects. It's all up to you. I didn't even think that it would be worth the time to mention, because like I said, you can have somebody else's effect chain and it just doesn't sound how you want it to sound. So I'll play everything together with the effects on and give you guys a last final output of what it sounds like.
Yeah, where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you letting glocks pop on the corner with them old hands slinging crack rock toothpaste. It can lead you either way, you in the box, get it? My cap on, no snap on, yeah, this shit fitted. Lessons taught was all caps, so I didn't listen. I need my stick so I can live, I ain't trying to fit in.
Yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and enjoyed the tips I gave you, man. Please subscribe and like the video, man, and stay tuned for the content, please, man. We got giveaways, we got vlogs, man. We got more tutorials, of course, more music. And, man, just stay tuned, man. We just got lots and lots of good stuff coming your way, man. And I want everybody to be blessed during this coronavirus situation, man. Everybody be blessed and have a safe day, man. Tuning out. Bye.
Damn. Ayo, John, play that bit back.
Where I'm from, you don't got a lot of options. You either in the kitchen or you letting glocks pop on the corner with them old hands slinging crack rock toothpaste. It can lead you either way, you in the box, get it? My cap on, no snap on, yeah, this shit fitted.